Hello everyone, welcome to our podcast Work Harder, and you're listening us on Pakistani Google, our YouTube channel. So today we will talk about what the clutter do to our brain and body. And like we have been talking about decluttering our stuff, so let's talk some about clutter and how it affects ourselves. So, an expert in organizational behavior examines the effects disorganization. Disorganizations and culture have a collective effect on our brain, which, like order, and many of us have started the year to determine the feeling of being on our daily routine or are on more organized, like no more drawers full of containers or full of the food wrappers or lawn socks. The decluttering craze is led by Japanese tidying aficionado Marie Kondo, author of a New York Times bestseller and Netflix show Tidying Up. Charity groups such as St. Vincent de Paul are reporting a 38% increase in donations year on year as we get rid of the clothes, books, and household items that don't spark joy or have a place in our future. And there is good reason to get on board, whether it's via the KonMari method or just having a good clear out. Clutter can affect our anxiety levels, sleep, and ability to focus. It can also make us less productive, triggering coping and avoidance strategies that make us more likely to snack on junk foods or continuous watching televisions or playing games, including ones about others people decluttering their lives. You can say many researchers shows that physical environment significantly influences our cognitive or emotions or subsequent behavior, including our relationships with ourselves and others. So, why clutter is bad for our brain? Bursting cupboards or piles of clothes everywhere or piles of discarded used papers, tissue papers, or stuff stacked around the house may seem harmless enough, but research shows disorganization and clutter have a cumulative effect on our brains. Our brains like order and constant visual reminders of disorganization drain our cognitive resources and reducing our ability to focus. The visual distraction of clutter increases cognitive overload and can reduce our working memory. In 2011, neuroscience researchers using fMRI, which we call it functional magnetic resonance imaging, and other physiological measurements, found clearing clutter from the house and work environment resulted in better ability to focus and process information as well as increased productivity. Now we will talk on how clutter is affecting our physical and mental health. Clutter can make us feel stressed and anxious and depressed. Research from the United States in 2009, for instance, found the levels of the stress hormone cortisol hormone cortisol were higher in mothers whose home environment was cluttered. A chronically cluttered home environment can lead to a constant low-grade fight or flight response, taxing our resources designed for survival. This response can trigger physical and psychological changes that affect how we fight bugs and digest food, as well as leaving us at greater risk of type 2 diabetes and heart disease. Clutter might also have implications for our relationships with those around us. Our 2016 US study, for instance, found background clutter resulted in participants being less able to correctly interpret the emotional expressions on the faces of characters in a movie, and surprisingly, it doesn't go away when we finally get to bed. People who sleep in cluttered rooms are more likely to have a sleep problems, including difficulty falling asleep and being disturbed during the night. So here's a question most of the people ask, that could clutter really make us overweight? Multiple studies have found a link between the clutter and poor eating disorder or poor eating choices. Dishonored and disorganized and messy environments led participants in one study to eat more snacks, more junk food, eating twice as many cookies, and then participants in an organized kitchen environment. Other research has shown that being in a messy room will make you twice as likely to eat sweet sweet chocolate bar than an apple. Finally, people with extremely cluttered homes are 77% more likely to be overweight. Tidy homes have been found to be a predictor of physical health. Participants whose houses were cleaner were more active and had better physical health, according to another study. So, hoarding can cause physical pain. Buying more and more things we think we need and then not getting rid of them is an actual disorder in the American Psychiatric Association Diagnostic and Statistic Manual of Mental Disorder, which we call it DSM-5. And according to DSM-5, those with hoarding disorder compulsively acquire possessions on an ongoing basis and experience anxiety and mental anguish when they are thrown away. So, a Yale University study using fMRI showed that for people who have hoarding tendencies, discarding items can cause actual pain in regions of the brain associated with physical pain. Areas of the brain were activated that are also responsible for the pain you feel when slamming a finger in a door or burning your hand on the stove. People who suspect they have hoarding disorder can take heart. Cognitive behavioral therapy has shown to be an effective treatment. So, guys, study house and is always a happy life, and you can say it's always a way for the happy life. So, guys, I hope you learned something from today's episode, and today's episode based were was based on totally on the research, and it's you can say, if you search on it you will find all the research on the Google. So thank you guys for listening, and I hope you learned something and you guys start tidying your houses and start decluttering. And don't clutter your house and keep healthy with physical and mentally. Thank you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my channel. Bye bye.